Good evening, everybody. I'm your host, Mr. Pineapple out here, aka Terrence Ramses. I am the CIO of the Royal Blossom Company. Welcome to our amazing show. I told you we don't know which angle we coming from each week. We doing something a little bit special. We doing in-person interviews, street interviews, and we doing so many different things on this particular podcast. Now, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about myself. I'm originally from New Jersey. West Indian background, the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. The mission of my brand, the Royal Blossom Company, is to restore, build, and create. To restore all the wealth and resources back into our communities, to build up the youth and children that are coming behind us, to create a unique commonwealth of like-minded entrepreneurs, to put them back in their God-given purpose and talents. I graduated from Bethune-Cookman University in 2012. I studied business administration, concentration marketing. Also, I'm an fine artist and a clothing designer out here in the Tampa Bay area. Also have a fashion agency called Fashion Law Silk Pay. And I do podcasting as well. So I'm going to give you some brand updates and news before we talk about our phenomenal guest right here sitting next to me. So I want to show you something that we're doing for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Survival. Something that you overcome in your life, a trial and tribulation that you have overcome, and you're inspiring others in your journey in overcoming cancer, or if you're currently battling cancer, we're rooting for you at the Royal Blossom Company, and we just want to say God is with you. I'm with you. We're here to support you. We're here to bring more breast cancer awareness to our community and prevention, and we wanted to come out with a special tee for next month. This special shirt is going to have Queen set on the back with a special ribbon on the back of the tee as well. So go ahead and place your orders today, www.royalblossomcommunity.co. And the mission of the brand is to restore, build, and create. And our brand values is to be fun, spirited, and passionate about everything we do. So we fully support you in your walk with surviving breast cancer. Mr. Pineapple, aka Terrence Ramses, the CIO of the Royal Blossom Company. Over and out. So that's one of our breast cancer awareness shirts. So I'm doing 2 of these, okay? So I want to go ahead and show you in person, but I'm going to show you the design of this actually. So as you see right here, it says the Royal Blossom Company in the front. So I have 3 special ribbons on the back, okay? So it's going to say Queen on the back, of course, and it's going to say, I'm going to tell you significance of this. So by the Q, it says for our people that are battling cancer, so there's a B, and this ribbon is white, okay? So that's going to be for the ones that are battling. I got this one as ivory, as the ones that some of our people that survived, that did not survive, and they passed on, okay? And then we have the green ribbon, means survive. That means they overcome or they're in remission, okay? So this one is called the Breast Cancer Survivor Fuchsia. And then we got another one for ovarian cancer too. We're gonna honor those who have ovarian cancer too, because it doesn't get enough light. So we're gonna do this one. This one is called our Gooseberry Star by Soleil. And this one has the same thing. It's battling, passed, and survived. So this is a special tee that we're coming out with. It's gonna be ready in about 2 weeks. Okay, I know the ship date says October 7th, but it's now, since we added this one, it's now October 14th. So go ahead and place your orders today, www.royalblossomcommunity.co, or you can scan this a wonderful QR code. So you can go to the website, scan your order, go ahead and get your order. We're doing this 20% off Ebony 2025 from last week, our phenomenal guest that we had out here in St. Petersburg as well. She was a nurse, and we decided we wanted to do a special promotion for you. Those of you who support the breast cancer or ovarian cancer awareness movement, those of you who may know somebody who survived, maybe somebody who's battling, maybe somebody who's passed on. You know, we want to shed light on them and want you to go ahead and honor them too. So go ahead and place your order with you. So www.royalblossomcommunity.co. Also, what will come with that special tee as well, You will be able to get a street interview with yours truly, Mr. Pineapple. I'm going to give you a 1 to 2 minute segment, and I'm going to chop it up into clips and post it on my Thursday Night with Pineapple podcast page on Instagram and Facebook, on my personal Facebook page. And I'm going to be able to chop it up on YouTube, so you'll be able to shed some light, tell your story, inspire somebody else to get checked out, to take care of themselves, what can they do to prevent it, and how they overcome it, how their trial and tribulation is different from everybody else. So we want you to go ahead and go to the doctor, get checked out, bring more awareness, inspire other women that are possibly dealing with this and dealing with the mental anguish, and they may need somebody to talk to, maybe somebody they relate to, because a lot of times what these type of sicknesses, it's all mental. It's all mental. And when your mental health is good and you got positive, you have people around you with a positive mental attitude, as Napoleon Hill says, once you have those type of people around you, your chances of surviving the disease increase by 50% because of the type of attitude and behavior that you're in, because your body also produces different toxins and chemicals based off of your attitude. So when you have a positive mental attitude and you can get through it with the support of us, and you have the support of your family, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to do something special for you. So make sure you go ahead and get your orders in with that. So we got some other special promotions. So I got the tee here. Actually, this is the prototype right here. Nice shirt right here. So it doesn't have the queen on the back of it, but it's gonna be produced. Nice soft material as well. Make sure you go ahead and get your orders in. So the sizing for this is small to 3XL. With the pink one, the green one is gonna be the teal. It's going to be 2X, and it's going to fit like a 3X. It's only a limited supply of the gooseberry, because that's a bonus shirt, okay? So make sure you go ahead and get your orders in. Don't wait too long, because once they get here, they're going to sell like hotcakes, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get your orders in. So I'm going to talk to you briefly about our consultant agency, Fashion Law Silk. Here's one of the logos. Here's the female logo. They all look pretty much the same. Okay, so here is the other logo as well. There we go. So here's the men's logo as well. And here is the unisex logo for men and women. So I'm going to briefly go over the introduction of this. So Fashion Law Silk goal is to guide you wherever you go in your fashion career, or simply just want to create your own garments, shirts, a business function, or event. So no matter where you want to go, to the east, the west, the north, or the south, we're going to make sure you get all your right needs with the proper expertise. So here are some of our price packages for our students and professionals. The students and professionals are the more cost effective. Those are the people that's coming out of high school, going into college. And these are the brand packages right here. Hold on. I done messed up. There we go. So we got the East Wing. This tier 1 is $150. So you get the coaching calls. You get the map out the mission and purpose, design costume, help with social media, brand ID. Then you got the West Wing, which is $300. You got the prototype correction, measurement charts, color codes, supplier communication, marketing promotions. We got the South Wing, which is $600, content creation, SEO, pre-order strategy, shipping and handling, overseeing brand ambassador growth. And then your North Wing is your brand box creation, sales and marketing strategy, fashion connections in fashion, deep dive into fashion education, 4 days a week of coaching, 1 hour, taglines. So the total cost of this program collectively in the 6 to 12 month period, depending on your schedule, is $2,250. Pretty much the small business and family professionals, basically the same thing. The only difference is more of a depth and detail, more hands-on the work. Of course, the price points are different. The difference is I call this the East Loft, West Loft, South Loft, and North Loft. So the total cost of the program is $6,100, but it's, like I said, it's a deeper dive into building your brand from scratch if you're really serious about building your brand as well. We also have individual private label services as well. So if you need t-shirt design, logo design, boat production, if you need hats, supplier contacts, tech pack creations, basic Shopify store setup. I just did that actually this week for one of my clients as well. We got a lot of different more services as well. I do special consultations? You'll send me an email at pineapple@rightbrand.net, or you just inbox me or inbox the Fashion Law Silk Pay page. Make sure you go like, share, subscribe to all of those pages, and we'll go from there. So basically, before we get into to the guest, I want to show you a picture that stood out to me. This picture came out maybe a couple of years ago. I think this picture. Oh my goodness! Like, I couldn't get enough reviews about this picture. I remember one of my artist buddies out here was talking about this picture. He said, "Man, that gotta go on the website." Oh yeah, we put it on the website while the rest of the tank tops was available. And this is a perfect example of our brand values: to be fun, to have fun, be spirited, and be passionate about everything that you do. Have fun with purpose. This is one of the main components of RBC and how you should feel and how you should present yourself when you're wearing our clothing. And this is the type of spirit that we want to translate to in everyday life, because there's a lot of things that we're going through as individuals. And it's just not. And energy is contagious, whether it's positive energy or whether it's negative energy. We want to spread a lot of positive energy about what we're doing, and so like that. So without further ado, so let me go ahead and give you a little bit of edification about Mr. Riley right here, man. He has done some great things in the community. He has done multiple things for multiple school districts. He's done coaching. He's doing multiple community service, a teacher, a serial entrepreneur. I've known him for the past 5 years now. I've seen him grow throughout the whole St. Pete and Tampa area. He's very passionate about working with the youth, and he was actually with the youth today when we talked on the phone today. And I've seen him just grinding out and just growing his business. And I just wanted to bring him on an interview. I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Julian Riley himself.
What's up, bro?
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
How you feeling today?
Man, blessed by the best, man. Can't complain.
Yes, sir, man. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you from, and what do you do for a living?
All right, cool, man. Well, a little bit about me. My name is Julian Riley. Of course, I'm a St. Pete native, born and raised in St. Pete. Lived a bunch of other places, right? My background, I was an athlete. Went to Lakewood High School. Go Spartans, right? And we had a pretty good football team. I was one of the top players in the nation coming out of high school. Ended up signing with the University of Florida. Played played 2 seasons with the Gators. Then transferred to USF. They gave my mom like 6 months to live. My mom has a disease called systemic lupus. And it almost, took her. But, I think I'd like to say I was inspiration. And thank God, I still have my mom. Didn't make it to the league. Didn't win that natty that Florida got, right? But, I was able to transfer. And I do think that was a motivating factor. And, and I do have my mom to this day. And I'm so grateful and thankful for that. And I'm also thankful and grateful for all of the relationships that I, gathered at both schools I attended. So, and then a little bit after college, I kind of got into workforce. I did a couple years arena ball. It was a lot of fun, but no money. And I just knew I wouldn't put my body through that stuff. So I had to get in the working world. So I started corporate. I started working, doing security at the Amway Arena now, but it used to be the St. Pete Times Forum. Was doing that and working at a call center, Macy's. Was actually about to join the Army. But then I got a call back from one of the 1,000 jobs that I applied for, and I started, working for Waffle House. I started off as a unit manager, ended up getting promoted to district. And then, man, I was doing that for a while. I thought that was going to be my life because I was moving up the corporate ladder. Was on the selectable list, was about to get promoted to division manager in the Jacksonville area. And then I was married at the time. My ex-wife ended up getting a job offer to coach volleyball at Georgia Tech.
Okay.
And then, man, I had a business partner, actually one of my friends today that I do a lot of work with in the community. His younger brother, was in the tax game, and man, he showed me a bunch of game, and we partnered up in the tax business. I had an office off Benola and Redan Road in Atlanta. We ended up moving to Atlanta, and then the rest is history. You know, I've been doing taxes and accounting ever since. That was my first business, but I've done a myriad of things, man. I've had a trucking company. Man, I had and a few things that's flopped. Man, we had a restaurant. It was called Bernie's to Go. Got out of the trucking game, got back in it to do like car hauling and things like that, and it worked for a while, man. But just tough if you don't got a bunch of money saved, and if you don't know how to drive trucks. There are some limitations if you try to do that business. But man, I kind of parlayed the freedom of that doing the tax business and what that gets you, and was able to kind of use that to parlay into my passions, which is really community work. I've always had a passion for kids, always had a passion for youth. My mom was a social worker. She worked for DCF growing up. So I think it's just in my blood, to have a passion for people. And when I was in high school, man, I think I put all the boys on, I think I put everybody on as far as showing them like how to get recruited and what you need to do as far as sending film and different things like that. Gave up my spot to the All-Star game, for one of my homeboys when I was in high school. Just always was a charitable person, and believed in each one teach one, and really just trying to just help. So, that kind of parlayed into what we got going on now, man. And I've just been blessed to, I got, rich friends, and I have, really, just blessed to know people in high places, man. So I've been able to receive a lot of game and just see a lot of things. And, I believe it's our job as a people to, to bring that stuff that we learn outside and bring it back to our community. And so I want to be, they say, what is the gospel, right? The good news, Well, I feel like the good news is telling our people, the game and the knowledge that is needed, so that we can help change our condition.
Okay, that man got a lot going on. He had a journey. That sounds like most men. We have a lot of different things that we dibble and dabble with, especially in our early 20s to late 20s. So,
yep.
I want to say this too. That's what men always are trying to build in their 20s and 30s, and we're trying to set foundations, for our generational wealth and our communities and our people and things like that. And we like to, just figure out what's our purpose. Yeah. And that's what this gentleman is talking about, his purpose. I want to ask you a question. I know it's a little bit off topic.
Okay.
So you're the first person I heard about a district manager at Waffle House. So was you beating people up with Waffle House? Because I know you got a fist fight a little bit with Waffle House and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Sometimes, man, I remember I had the 301 store one time, and it was this, one of them Proud Boys came in there, and he was trying to use our water or something like that to wash his car. I don't know, it was something. and of course, they come and tell me. I really didn't care if he used it or not, right? But I know that the people that govern the organization don't want me to do that, so I had to say something to the gentleman, and and of course he proceeded to call me N-word and a couple of other things, and I proceeded to tell him hey bro, don't let this proper talk or this this apron fool you. I'm really about that life like that, man, and and I had to kind of straighten him or whatever, and the rest is history type thing, but I didn't get in trouble. I didn't get reprimanded or anything. So thank God they had my back or whatever. But, that was the only time really I had to, kind of get out of character, at work or whatever. But no, man, it was just, I ended up meeting the recruiter at Waffle House. I was at a job fair and I was wearing one of my bowl rings, and it happened to be the UF bowl ring I was wearing, and he was a former Gator. And he was like, oh, man, He was like, have you ever thought about working for Waffle House? And, at the time, I thought a $50,000 job a year was a lot of money, right? So I was like, shoot, man, I don't got no student loan debt or anything like that. $50K to me, I'm cool with that. So at the time it was cool. And, it was enough, and then I ended up, just getting promoted. I did real well with the job. If you're in management of any sorts, if you're a people person, you're gonna do well. If you're a people person, you ain't lazy. So one thing is I didn't mind working. So my people respected that, and then I was a people person. So I know how to get the best out of people. You know what I mean? I got a persuasive tongue. So, I can, kind of, get people to do things that I need them to do, right? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm good at that. I've learned that that's a skill that I've, grown or whatever over the years, right? So, and if you could kind of possess those things, then you can be good at management. So, man, they love me there. I trained some good managers. I, just had some good folks, man, and I was doing really, really well. I just, Waffle House is a really good career, man. The money's good, and and the culture is good and things like that. It's just a lot of hours. I mean, you essentially you work that job, you giving up your weekends and holidays, and so that was the thing with that. But I mean, I think if you could figure out how to give it a work-life balance within the structure of it, then you can be successful with it or whatever. But just it wasn't necessarily a bad career choice. They got a really good stock program. You'll retire and you'll have some money or whatever like that if you decide to stay in the long game. But man, I started looking at that P&L, and I started seeing how much money my stores were making. And I was like, man, I got to get on the other side of this. I need to be Joe Rogers, who's the owner of this thing, and we're making all of this money and stuff like that for him. So I just, honestly had, that was one of the things that motivated me to want to get on and do things on my own and, get my own hustles and things like that so that I could be my own boss and that I can, just be an example. I don't have a family or anything like that yet, but when I do, it's going to be nice to be able to, show my kids like, yeah, this is the stuff, these are the programs daddy got going on, these are the buildings and stuff like that daddy's affiliated with. And, what I mean? And people are, working with him and he's able to help manage those people and empower them, what I mean? And it's providing a little for us. So I've always wanted to be that type of example.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We had a guest on here say hello. Hey, Denise, how you doing? But,
hey, Nisi.
And that's what. Hey. So, I want to tell the audience something. So, when you're working at different corporations and jobs and different professions, you wanna take those learning experiences as lessons, and you wanna also take some skill sets, enjoy the journey, enjoy the processes. It may not be where you want to be that at that given component, right in that season right there. You may not like it. You may have to deal with some customers. You may have to deal with some managers. You may have to deal with some long days, long work hours. Like in my 20s, man, like my early 20s, like I just sat right there. I worked a lot of hours. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in our early 20s and mid 20s, we had nothing to really do like that, man. We besides go out and hang out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Got girlfriends and stuff like that, man. We used to work long hours. I used to work at the Hilton Oceanfront in Daytona Beach. I used to be a bellman up there.
Okay.
So I got a lot of skill sets. I've met a lot of different celebrities and things like that. Because when I'm building my clothing brand, I'm sitting and just got to do a lot of networking and talking to the right people, because there's so many people with different walks of life and you just don't know who you're talking to. So you can just take all your different skill sets and your learning experiences and apply them to whatever your passion, your purpose is. Everything is a season, and you don't know how to deal with conflict resolution. You don't know how to deal with different customers. You don't know how to apply that to your business. Take these structures, these principles, take these systems and plug them into your own business, and just build it from there. And it's all a process, and enjoying the journey and celebrating the journey and getting passionate about the journey. Because what happens, Julie, a lot of people don't get passionate about the journey because I want the finish line. I want the finish line. I want the success.
That was me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So once you get past that and you go past that and you like, you know what? Let me celebrate where I'm at, because when you do finally get this success, it's a whole new set of problems, whole set of responsibilities, people that you have to look after. You got, clients, you got customers, you got employees, you got people to pay out. And those come with another series of problems and tests. And you got to be able to navigate through those tests and the pressure. And you got to always remind yourself where you came from, especially if you come from a humble beginning. Because I know I don't come from nothing. I don't know about you, but I don't really come from a lot, from back in the hood and stuff like that. I don't come from a lot, but I know how to get it out of the mud and celebrate the process. I was had that same issue, man. I wanted to just speed things up a little bit, but as you think about it, if I did speed things up, where I'll be where I am today. If I did speed, would I be able to handle if God did release, all the wealth and finance and all the responsibilities? Would it crush me, or would I be able to maintain it and manage it the right way?
And see, I think I'm a little bit opposite of that, right? Because like, I ain't gonna necessarily say I didn't come from the mud, right? But not in the way maybe some other folks, right? Like, man, I grew up with both of my parents. We grew up in a nice neighborhood. We had a pool and stuff like that growing up. Like, I wasn't never really hungry, never really missed any meals, never was concerned about any of the things that like one would be. I never was concerned about my lights or the rent or anything like that. Like that was never really my thing. I think more so I got motivation because I saw how hard my parents worked. You know what I mean? I saw how hard my mama worked. I saw, my dad literally had 2-3 jobs my whole entire life. You get what I mean? Like, my dad's foreign, he's Caribbean, so you know how them with the 2 or 3 jobs, right? You know what they say about that. But I mean, it makes sense, right? And shoot, in America, I think that's just the way it is. You kind of got to have multiple hustles here, like if you want to make it, honestly. But exactly right. So you know what I mean. But I saw how hard my dad worked. I saw how hard my mom worked, and I just felt like the sacrifices that they made, right. Honestly, man, like I knew I was gonna go to college, right? But like I just knew it was something more that I had to do because I just felt like it's a waste for my parents to do all of that stuff because they went to college and then they made all this sacrifices and gave me and my brother and sister this really good life. And I'm like, dang, just for me to just go get a job too? You get what I mean? Like, where's the elevation? So I've always been motivated to try to like do more. And sometimes my dad or mom, like, especially when things were hard, you know what I mean? Because it take, when you're an entrepreneur, it just takes you a long time of trying to figure out how to really make money. Like you'll make money, but then it's like you don't know how to do it consistently, or you know what I mean? So it's just so many different things. And then when you're a person that like, man, a lot of us football players, we develop real bad habits. Like, you kind of get the man right, but you develop really bad habits because you get everything taken care of you. Like, so shoot, I always had girls doing my work. I always was able to cheat, you know what I mean? And then, or if I just showed up and smiled in class and paid attention, the teacher passing me and giving me grades and stuff like that. And it's great up until, but then when you're 25 and don't make it to the league and you don't really know how to do a lot of stuff for yourself and you've always cut corners and had things handed to you and you just come up with, you get in a conundrum, and it's like, and it's hard, you know what I mean? So that's a lot of things that I think that, stifled me in my progress as an entrepreneur because I had the confidence, right? And I had somewhat of the work ethic, right? But I also was kind of lazy in a sense because I cut corners and was looking for an easy way out. And there's really no easy way when you want to work for yourself. Everything is hard. Just get used to that and understand that everything is hard, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Let hard be your, let hard be your norm. You know what I mean? And then once that's your norm, then then now you can elevate to higher levels.
You know what's funny, Julian? There was a guy that we both was at the Tampa Bay Academy of Hope. And we used to be mentors for there because we used to mentor for the at-risk youth.
Yeah.
And he used to be in the NFL.
Okay.
I don't know if you may know him. His name Courtney Brown. He used to be in the NFL.
Yeah, Courtney Brown. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he used to be in the NFL. He told me his story. And he was like, man, listen, bro. Like, similar situation, but not quite the same. But the difference is he was just talking about his management of finance. And he was talking about how he just like I ain't never had nothing. I was cutting corners, man. I ain't have what you were saying. I ain't have discipline. So what I heard from what Julian said and what Courtney said, I ain't have discipline. I lack discipline. And so when you lack discipline, you start making bad decisions, and then stuff start coming up. If you reap what you sow, it start coming up. It's just like I'm not gonna do my work. I'm gonna cut corners. I'm not gonna take the test. I'm gonna let them do it. I'm gonna cheat. But now when you actually out in the real world, you gonna make it to the professional leagues. You actually need to go out here and do that stuff. You don't have the necessary skills, so you don't know what to do. You don't have the know-how, and so you can't really do anything else. And one thing he told me, he said, "Bro, I was making like $30,000 a week," and he was like, he was coming off the bench. He big dude, he just as big as him. But he was like, "Look, I was making this type of money, man. I was as soon as them checks come in, I'm spending 30,000. I made 30,000. I'm just making it." Then when he got a family, started a family, you know, as an NFL, he came out of the NFL, man. He's like, "Man, I ain't got nothing saved up, man. I'm just, you know, he's an entrepreneur out here today." But he was like, "Dang, man," I'm like, only if I had the discipline, the know-how, only if I, you know, didn't cut corners, only if I was focused on what I needed to focus on, only if I, you know, put this money up, I would have been able, my family would be in a better position than where I'm at today. And that stuck out to me today. I was like, man, I was in the NFL, that money was rolling in. But I ain't know what FICA was. I didn't know what Medicare was. I didn't know the luxury tax. And this is what I want to tell the youth too about, you know, when you want to become in the NFL, man, because like, especially if you're coming from nothing, especially if you're coming from single moms, especially if you're not too book smart, man, you gotta definitely get this financial literacy, entrepreneurship under your belt, because the average NFL player lasts about 2 years, 3 years, somewhere around here.
Yeah. The plug is trades, man. The plug is trades. That's why one of the things. That's why I'm real passionate about the youth. I actually have a workforce development program now. That's one of the things that I actually do, or whatever. And we focus on youth workforce development, youth vocation, or whatever. Because you want to learn the skills to pay the bills. Because if you know how to, do HVAC, or if you know how to do electrician work, or you know how to do welding work, right? Now you have skills that you can now then teach. You get what I mean? You get one or two electricians, you don't even need to do the work anymore. You could get them, once they kind of know, and you could just sit back, get an AI tool at this point now, have them book the appointments for you guys. You can have a whole AI funnel system, have them booking the appointments, and then you send your reps out that you've trained, how to do the work, and then they do the work, and you pay them a little percentage, you pay them a nice little salary, and then you sitting back making residual income off of just this skill set. And the same thing goes with construction. The same thing goes with IT. And even if you want to work, because some people aren't cut out to be entrepreneurs, but HVACs, they're making six figs. Linemen or whatever that work for like Duke Energy and things like that, they make six figures. They make 100,000 base, and you can get multiple contracts, right? You get 2-3 lineman contracts. Now you're making 300,000 a year, and and you're doing seasonal work. Just off of that skill set, if you learn how to do IT and AI cybersecurity, those jobs start off with no degree. All you need is a cert. Start off 80, 90, $100,000, doing that, learning how to trade. Man, one of the greatest thing that I've ever learned how to do is like learn how to trade and, flip money or whatever like that with the stock market and things like that. It's just so many great things that we don't know about, but we have access to. And I feel like it's our job to, be able to expose and inspire these youth. And then, we giving the game away for free. We actually paying you to get this game, so that you can, really, really learn. So that's my passion, man. I'm really, passionate about the youth. I have a prescription drug discount program as well. I know my mom being sick, that was something that made me, and having to pay those high cost of prescription drugs. I always wanted to get into that market. So, I have a 340B, program, and that's just essentially just a fancy term for prescription drug discounts. And, I've, partnered with North Florida Rural Health, and, we're able to offer prescription drugs at a discounted rate. And, so that's a really good program, but of course the main one that I'm passionate about is the youth or whatever. So, I partner with Rehabilitation of the Heart, which is a vocation rehabilitation agency, which is a program through the Department of Education in the state of Florida. And we have a school, and we're literally teaching construction trades, technology, trading and finance, culinary arts. Actually, when I was talking to Terrence earlier, and he was telling me that I was just, literally just came from an event. We had an event that started today at the Skills Center in Tampa, which was a culinary arts event, and it was awesome, man. So I'm really passionate about the youth. We're going to help a bunch of kids, man. I think they say my people will perish for lack of knowledge, and we about to change that. They also said that they don't teach us stuff in schools, and they say that us as a culture, we don't do anything to help ourselves out. So, we here to change all of that, because, we are the solutions of the problems that we face in our community, and we will change, we will be the change, it starts with us, it's a wrap, man. Like, I'm so over waiting for anybody, and we not asking for any handouts. This is stuff that's self-funded. We're doing this stuff on our own accord. We're paying the money out of our own pockets. And, we will, get the things and do the things necessary so that we can build and make the funds, so that we can help these kids, man, because it's really about our, the kids and them being our future. And I know I'm long-winded about it, man, but I'm super just passionate about this, man, because, like, it's just so needed. It's so needed in our community, and we got to be the ones that teach it. They not going to teach us, and when I say they, we all know who they are. The powers that be, the structure, the system is not designed to teach us, right? But there are things in it that we can capitalize on, right? And we found those loopholes. So, man, come and just rock with us, man. Support us. We literally got everything lined up, man. We gonna feed you. We gonna pay you. We gonna give you the game. We gonna motivate you. We got motivational speakers. We got professionals. You just got everything lined up, man, to really just be able to help, our kids out.
Okay. And
Yeah.
Denise asked you, where are you located? Are you in Tampa?
We're in Tampa and St. Pete. So we're doing things in Tampa at Crossover Church and in the Skills Center, which is off 22nd Street in Tampa. And then in St. Pete, we're going to be at Pinellas Park High School, and then also Bethel Community Baptist Church, which is Reverend Sykes Church here on 54th Ave South. He's being gracious enough to give us his whole school or whatever. So we'll have an after-school program that's starting there. We're going to be starting with tech and like robotics and AI and coding, cybersecurity, things like that. We're going to be doing that in trading and finance. And then in Tampa, we're going to be doing the tech and AI, and we're going to be doing culinary arts.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's good. That's good. What days are you usually out here in Tampa and St. Pete? What's your schedule for your program?
Will be essentially it varies depending on what for instance, like today, the culinary arts program started in Tampa. It started at 5 o'clock, right? So that was from 5 to 7, right? But for the most part, other than that, we have an hour block or a time schedule block for 4 hours from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. normally, and that's going to be Monday through Thursdays, and then Saturdays from 10 to 1. Because honestly, I was an athlete in high school, so I know how hard it is for athletes to be able to do programs like this, and then especially after school, because we have practice. And then you want to study, you want to spend time with your girl, and then you want to talk on the phone and TikTok and all of the stuff that the kids doing, right? So I wanted to do something that specifically catered to them, because I know football season and cross country season is all, right. And then even basketball, you know what I mean? So I would rather, be able to have something to where we can, they could do something on the weekend. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's early enough in the morning where they can still sleep in a little bit. But it's also late enough to where they don't have to do it. They don't have to attend every day. Right now they can. So starting next semester, like in January, we want to encourage them to be able to attend as much as they want to, right? So as long as we're doing it, we want them to attend. But of course, they don't have to. The only thing required for them to get their stipend and for them to get their certification is if they attend at least once a week, at least 3 hours, right? And we made it hybrid. So if they can't attend in person, they can attend virtually, because what we wanted to do is eliminate excuses. Then I work with a bunch of kids, and these new generations, they got a bunch of excuses, right? So
Excuses.
my mama told me that I had a bandage for every sore, right? That's what she used to tell me growing up, because I had a rebuttal for everything. So I still use that same concept. It was like, nah, well, we just gonna make it hybrid. So we'll have it in person, where we really encourage you to do that, because I want you to come in person, because we'll try to have food and different things like that for y'all. But then I also want to do it in the but if you can't make it in person, then you could do a hybrid as well.
What is the hours? You said the hours of operation. What are the ages and the locations?
I'll text you.
What are the ages and where are the locations, and what are the different programs you got?
Okay, so the ages is from 14 to 21. We have one for youth, and then we also have some for like young adults that are like struggling to find their career and things like that, or if they were incarcerated or something like that. We have programs specifically for adults, so that's like 25 to 65. But then we also, our youth programs of what I was just talking about, that's 14 to 21. You need to have an IEP or a 504 or some type of documented learning impairment. And let me just talk about the learning impairment thing real quick, right? Because there's a stigma against getting tested or just all the different things, right, that we just lack knowledge of in our community. Most of us are walking around here with something that's undiagnosed, right? And then most of us have stuff that might be diagnosed that we just don't tell people. Like, man, I'm dyslexic, ADD, right? Diagnosed with that, right? But, I have multiple degrees. You know what I mean? So it doesn't gauge your intellect or anything like that. It's just, man, you might have something, but let me get it tested for free. No one knows about it, right? You don't have to, it doesn't go in your medical record. It doesn't go into the school or anything like that. It's just something that we need so that we can process this paperwork and offer these services to you for free. So let us get you, tested. Let us figure it out, right? Most of these kids, especially if you're black or brown, you're dealing with some type of undiagnosed or unforeseen trauma, right? Bullying, anxiety, depression, right? You might have a physical, it's just being black in America right now, they hanging people at schools and mass shootings and things like that. And they killing people on TV in broad daylight, and it's the major discussions. That's traumatic, right? So that might cause something in your brain that may make you, have to think or process something a little bit longer. Let us just find that out, right? We could use that. Now we could use that, offer this service to you for free, pay you, and then we could keep it moving. So I just kind of wanted to, talk about that a little bit. But those are the ages, 14 to 21. And again, you got to have an IEP or 504 or documented learning impairment. And we help with that. We have a really good center that we're working with, the Healing Care Center. Dr. Gatson and her team, they're phenomenal, and they're so good. And then we also have a service that if a person, let's just say you are going through depression, right? And let's just say you really do need some help, some mental health treatments, we pay for the treatments for you too. So we really want to have a holistic approach to really helping our people in our community have a well-rounded and more highly functional life,
Got you. And
yeah.
How do the youth sign up for this program?
So we have a link. We have a QR code. It's actually on the flyer that you have posted a little bit earlier. And then of course, if you can, when we share this video, we'll be able to share it with. This one doesn't have the QR code on it,
okay,
or whatever. But I do have a flyer that has a QR code on it. You literally just sign up for that. If your child doesn't have an IEP or 504, then we'll just sign them up to get evaluated, and then we'll sign them up for the program or whatever. But we have a really smooth system, and it's just ready to go or whatever. But we're ready to go. We want as many kids as possible. Tell your cousins, tell your friends, anybody that needs help. We got CDL training. We got welding. We even have underwater welding. We have OSHA certified board instructor people that are going to be teaching the construction classes and things like that. We have Code Box, which is a reputable tech company, main tech hub here in St. Pete or whatever. They're going to be, we contracted with them to teach the kids. So it ain't going to be Julian teaching. I ain't teaching. You don't got to worry about me. I'm just going to put your youth with the people that got the game, right, so that they can learn, right? And we're literally going to take somebody from zero to hero. In Code Boxes, they're looking for youth to work for their company. So they're trying to groom them so that they can have people and get them guaranteed job placement. So like you literally can start your kid now if they want to make video games, or if they want to do coding, or they want to do cybersecurity, or they want to get a tech or an AI certification. They can do that now while they're in high school, learn and get the internships and the reps, get paid for it, and then when they turn 18, they got a guaranteed 6-figure job. You get what I mean? Like, I can't gift wrap it more than that, man, guys. Just rock with the kid, man. Rock with the kid, man. We got the services. Let's go.
Underwater welding.
Underwater welding. Yes. That's it's like a 6-figure starting off, but once you got like 5 years of experience, bro, they making them underwater welders are getting like, they make like 250K a year. Like, it's crazy.
Man, listen, that's where it is. Trade, skill. See, something my teacher taught me when I was at Bethune-Cookman. He was a white guy. He said, a lot of us did not take heed to what he said. This was in 2010. He said, you want to go ahead and get you certification, license, and high economic demand fields. You want to get you some trades, some skill set. See, that's where you make your money at. So when you developing your skills, especially throughout this pandemic, developing more skills. The more skill sets you got, the more recession-proof you make your own economy, your house, and in your community. So when people say, yeah, man, the economy is bad, yeah, that's true. But you are your own economy as well. You know, you are the dictator of what happens in your house financially, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, physically. You're all in the things that you can control. So you worrying about what you can control. You can control your finances. You can control how much money you can make. You can control what books you're reading. You can control how you spend your time, the people, places, and things that you spend time with. And I would say this: always look to seek knowledge, seek to understand, seek things that you'll get as far as your knowledge. Seek knowledge, seek God too, but also work on yourself and build your skill sets. And take heed to what's going on. Stay informed and stay vigilant about your finances, because things can happen. Things happen all the time. You want to put finances away, especially transferring this information to the youth, teaching them, putting them in a position to be ahead. Don't go out here and get a crazy amounts of debt, getting loans that they don't need, getting student loans. There's nothing wrong with college, but going to college to get the right degrees, going to college to get something that you're passionate about, something that you can make a lot of money coming right out, hitting the head running. So you don't want to get these crazy degrees that ain't making us no money, like in theater arts and stuff like that. Like, we want to get, us as men, we already know, most of us, black men specifically, we don't like to go to too much college. We do go to college, but when we do go to college, we don't be going to college for pointless things. We go to college for purposes. So most guys, like when you say welding, you talking about like all those different trades.
You don't need college for that, man. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it to where people don't go to college. I personally am not a huge proponent of college. I think the only thing college guarantees is debt. So I'm not a huge fan of college myself. I say get a trade, learn a skill, right? My brother went to college and got a degree, but he's made more money with his insurance license than he's ever made off of his degree. I got other homeboy that went to college, and he makes so much money selling life insurance, and he makes so much money being a firefighter, and he didn't need a degree to do any one of those things, right? But got a whole bunch of debt to go to college, right? Even with me, what I went to school for, I'm not using it at all, really. You get what I mean? So, I went to, I got a undergrad in communication, like interpersonal communication, a minor in criminology, and I went to grad school for adult education. I guess I'm kind of using the adult education thing a little bit, right? But not really, you know what I mean? But for the most part, what I mean, again, I was fortunate enough to have a football scholarship that, paid for my schooling, and I had extra years, so it paid for my grad schooling or whatever like that. So it was cool. So I was just blessed because I'm big and God made me big and could tackle folks. But like, other than that, like, it's a lot. Like, what I mean, you get it, it's a lot of money, and I don't necessarily feel like you need it, man. I feel like if you'll make way more money if you know how to build homes. You'll make way more money if you know how to build cabinets. You'll make way more money if you know how to HVAC. You'll make way more money if you know how to weld. You'll make way more money if you have a CDL. You get what I mean? Like all of those things, you'll make way more money than if have a communications degree or criminology degree or or a BS degree. You know what I mean? Again, I think college is great if you want to be a teacher, an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, a specific niche, right? An economist, right? A scientist, right? Of course, those things for sure, definitely, right? But if you aren't doing those things, man, come with me. Let me get you skilled up and let's, and then you could, pay cash for college because by the time you're 18, you making money like that, you still living with your mom, you don't got to pay no crazy bills and things like that. A couple of years you stack up, man. Now you can put a down payment on a house or, buy and pay your cash off, your car off cash or, or just save a bunch of money, man, put that thing in an annuity or something like that. And by the time you're 65, you put 25K in an annuity. And by the time you're 65, you got a few millions and it's going to pay you out dividends every month. Right. So it's just so many things that you can do and learn about money, but you have to, of course, learn about the money. Right. And then you have to know how to produce the income so that you can do all of the things that you learn about the money. And it's our job as a community. And I'm definitely teaching you how to do that now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Denise asked, is there any adults over 25 or does it stop at 25?
Yes, we have a program for adults over 25 as well.
There it is. So there ain't no excuses. So man, I will say this. That's some good stuff. Yeah, man, especially something that I read in, I think it wasn't even Think and Grow Rich. It was Outwitting the Devil. Okay.
How to Outwit the Devil, Napoleon Hill.
So in that book, he was talking about like when people are going to school, a lot of people don't go to school for purpose because a lot of people do drop out, especially when going to HBCUs and stuff like that, and going to that side of the state where the Gators is, and you going to like Florida State, and you got FAMU. It's a whole bunch of stuff that you just like trouble and stuff. Distractions. Okay. Distractions. So he was saying that you would be drifting. A lot of people drift, and you shouldn't be like he was saying. And this was in the 30s. He was like, this was almost 100 years ago. He said, listen, people shouldn't be going to college just to be trying to figure out. You should have a goal, plan, skill set. And you shouldn't get no degree unless you coming out and making money. This was in the 30s and 40s and stuff like. And that's how people should treat college. Like you ain't just going there to play around. A lot of people go to college. Maybe your first year you're trying to get away from your house, depending on what your situation is. But at the same time, you go there with vision, mission, and purpose. You know what you want to do. You should be able to be successful. But a lot of people be out here just lost, bro.
Yeah.
They just lost, and I don't want our people to be lost. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So what's the name of your program?
The name of the program is Rehabilitation of the Heart. It's the Youth Vocation and Work Readiness Program. And and that's pretty much the name of it. Again, the name of my organization is called We Care LF Inc., but we partnered with Rehabilitation of the Heart, or short for Roth Academy, and it's a vocational school that's certified through the Department of Education and Voc Rehabilitation, and we just put on courses that are going to last year round. So we got stuff for when your kids are on break. we got stuff for when they're in school, and we got stuff in the summertime. So literally, man, you could bring your kid as a freshman or an eighth grader that just turned 14. They could come with us that summer. We can keep your baby up until they're a senior, and we got stuff for them to do pretty much every day after school, and during breaks and during the summertime, to get them paid and keep them, off the streets and keep them from necessarily having a bunch of idle time. You know what I mean? They'll have things that they can focus on, that they can be motivated to do. They can have a direction and a vision for their life because they'll have different options and opportunities of information and things that they know how to do. And again, they'll have opportunity to be around their peers because we're going to have this thing hybrid and in person, so they'll be able to just tune in and plug in, man. I want to have a hub to be able to have a place for our kids to go and be off the streets, and maybe they don't got to get a gun or kill each other or do something stupid or rob something or something like that. Maybe if they see that they can make a whole bunch of money trading or doing tech, and they see that, man, they don't got to, steal no cars or sell no drugs or, risk their life for nothing dumb or whatever like that. And, or maybe some of their kids can, flip some of this money or whatever like that and learn a little bit of real estate or whatever, because we'll have a real estate person come speak to them and they can pool their money together or something like that, man, and go buy some real estate and start taking over the block that way, man. But I just want to be able to have a hub for them to be able to plug into and not necessarily have it be a video game or just being at home or, you know what I mean? And then I want to provide food at our in-person locations and things like that, man, because, sometimes it is a struggle at home. So we want to be able to, if they're with us, we want to provide like a good meal or a hearty snack or something like that, you know what I mean? So that way they are, at least getting a good meal or something like that, man. So we just want to put all of the things in place, man, to try to, do something to start to rectify what's going on. And we just want y'all support.
Okay. So how would you get affiliated with your organization? How would you sponsor? How would you become like a partner? And like, how would you, if you wanted to be like a mentor or anything, how would they go about contributing to your organization?
Well, you can hit me directly. You know what I mean? Like, you can hit me directly. We're always looking for different volunteers. We got a bunch of different things that we go of. Like, I'm on the board of an organization called G3 that's also based out of Tampa. On weekends we do a program for kids K through 12 called the Be More program, which kids can program. We'll plug in. We do robotics and healthy living training. We do athletic training and things like that with them. We have like a Christmas in July thing where we use the donations money and buy a whole bunch of gifts, and the kids get bikes and PlayStations and a whole bunch of stuff like that, a whole bunch of giveaways and things like that for them. We just did a bike giveaway the other day in Tampa. But yeah, you just, kind of just reach for volunteer and stuff like that, just reach me directly. But if you just want to, the main thing I would say is if you know people that have access to youth, you know what I mean? We want to help as many youth as possible. But for the most part, man, and then of course, if you know of any programs or have any programs that you can facilitate. Right now, because I'm a guy, I know a lot of guy stuff, right? So I know I mentioned HVAC and construction and those things. I didn't really mention a lot of girl stuff. I've had a lot of young ladies talk to me about, why you don't do nothing with nursing? Why you don't do nothing with esthetician or cosmetology and things like that, which I think are awesome careers, right? That we need to do more of. I just don't, that's not me. So you can help me if you know anybody that is part of those types of programs, because I love to work with them so we could really put a real legit curriculum together, right? And do it. And we pay our instructors really good, guys. We were able to bill the state directly from this, so we ain't waiting for our funds. And you know how it is with government contracting, that money coming. So you ain't got to worry about it, right? So if you put a program together, even if you who are viewing, you put something together, man, we could do it, and then we could get you paid up front so we could run the program. And man, let's help these kids.
I might be able to give you a list of some people, man. We'll definitely have to chat offline. Yeah, man, I think we can do some things, man. I think we can help each other with the vision and purpose. A lot of the stuff that we got going on is similar in vision and values, and that's a lot of things about what the RBC brand and what the podcast stand for, man. I appreciate this. interview, and you taking the time out to really tell people about what you do and your passion, your why, and getting the information out there to the people, and making sure that, you know, there are organizations out here that are consistently pouring into the youth, and they're not just, you know, spending time with them and you're just spending an hour or a couple of hours a day, but you actually spending a couple of hours a day and making it useful and productive and lucrative. So we appreciate that. We appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how would they find you and get in contact with you with the program? So tell them before we close out, tell them how they find you.
Okay, if you follow me on any social media, my name is Julian Riley. That's JulianRiley, right? So on Facebook and Instagram, that's my name, that's my profile, right? I also have an Instagram. My Instagram is Ju the Great. So it's JU_DAGREAT. So Ju the Great, or whatever like that. And and that will have all of the flyers. I got a bunch of the flyers and stuff like that posted. It'll be all on my timeline. Also, you know, my email is my first and last name, Julian Riley, the number 55. So Julian Riley 55@gmail.com. And then my cell phone number is 832-757-3712. Again, that's 832-757-3712. That's my personal cell phone number. I can be reached at that at any time. And then, of course, all of the information with the camp and how to sign up and stuff like that is on the flyer. But if you hit me up, I'll definitely shoot you a direct message, or if you DM me, I'll shoot you the flyer and walk you through the process on how to get signed up.
Here it is. Here it is. See, like we got work to do. And Denise, she been in the chat, so she'll definitely connect the dots. She'll probably send you a friend request, and she'll probably ask you some questions, and she'll probably connect some dots to you too.
For sure. I appreciate you, Denise. Thank you so much for being engaged. Thank you so much for your questions, and looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have any closing remarks?
Hey, man, just each one teach one. That's an ancient African proverb. You know, again, yeah, that's an ancient African proverb. Each one teach one. And our people will perish for lack of knowledge. So those are the things that and then also be the change that you want to see in other people. So those are things that I live by. You know, we need to teach each other and stop, you know, hating on each other, or stop thinking that there's not enough. God's not going to allow us to be born if he's not going to create enough, you know, for us to have in abundance, you know what I mean, on his earth. Right. So, you know what I mean? So, of course, each one teach one, man. Let's show each other the game. Let's start, you know, helping each other. Black people do work well together. We got to change the narratives. Right. And then, you know, and then again, you know, my people will perish for lack of knowledge. You know, it's just a bunch of stuff we don't know. It's a bunch of stuff I don't know, still learning. Right. So just be a sponge, learn, and if you do know, teach. You know what I mean? Like, get a game, give it for free. Who cares if you had to pay for it? You know what I mean? Give it away for free. You reap what you sow, man. The law of reciprocity is a real law, or whatever. And then, you know, be in the change that you want to see in other people, right? You know what I mean? You just want to be the change. You know what I mean? If you complaining about something, or you think, oh, they don't teach our kids in school, or, you know, that's why I really got into this, man, because I got tired of complaining about they not teaching our kids in something school. I got tired of hearing that there's a school to prison pipeline. I got tired of hearing that we can't do nothing about it, and we can. So, you know, those are the things that I figured I'd end in, and I just appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much for allowing me to share space with you, man, and what you're doing, and how this sheds light on so many things in the community, man. So I appreciate you and the work that you're doing too, Terrence, for real.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Listen, I've just been wanting to do this for years, man. It's one of my passions, and, you know, it's one of the extensions of the clothing brand, and, you know, just doing more than just selling clothes, but also just impacting lives and changing lives for the better. And that's the kind of expression that when you had one of my tank tops on, that's the type of expression that we want to have and spread that throughout the community as far as the youth, and put them back in the purpose. Say, listen, when you put this on, this is purpose. Everything is about purpose, bro. Everything we do is about purpose. I know we got nice designs, we got quality designs, but it's just bigger than that. You know, it's more about You know, chasing after your dreams, your goals, your purpose, chasing after God, seeking the kingdom of heaven. You know, just seeking the things that you can look to and change and invoke in your community, and inspiring others, and chasing something that's bigger than yourself. And this, I feel like this podcast is bigger than me, and it's just impacting so many people, and just bringing on some phenomenal guests like yourself, man. I appreciate your time as well.
Yeah, bro.
So yeah, man. So I want to say before we close out, you know, we also got a special promotion with the hats. I didn't bring these out, so I got a couple of hats, mix and match. Dad hats, 5 for 100, 5 for $99.99. We also got some clearance sale items on the website too. We're gonna also have this jogger set come out. It's gonna be some modifications.
I need one of them.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's coming out. Yeah,
I need that. That's fine.
The black one.
Yeah, the black one that you got, and you got the embroidery on that. Yeah, I need that all day.
We got a black one gonna come out with a gray one, and come out with a navy one. They're all gonna come out at the same time. I'm gonna start the pre-order process after I do this tee, and then we're gonna go from there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What size you wear?
XL.
See, there you go. We're gonna go up. See, I think we're gonna go up to 2X, 3X on that. I think 3X, 3X, 4X. We're not doing it. 4X was not moving around. So
lose some weight.
What you said?
I said lose some weight and health as well.
Thank you. But there was some brothers that was, you know, they tall. There's some brothers that's a little bit taller than you, you know, that can actually fit the 4X, you know. But some people, you know, they too round, you know. It's true. And this also is a health and wellness brand, so we also promote health and taking care of yourself. That's why one of the things I name it after, like nature, plants, fruits, drinks, ocean, sand, things that's a part of nature that will make you keep you healthy and keep you sane. So yeah, we're gonna go out here. My closing remarks is, man, stay focused. Always look to change your community. Always use your purpose to inspire others. Give back. Like he said, you know, if you got some information, share some knowledge for free. There's nothing wrong with sharing some things. Also good to charge people for your services, but also good to give some knowledge for free. Always assess the situation and use discernment. Okay? So we're gonna see you next week. Like we said, you just don't know which angle we coming from. For next week, we're gonna have another phenomenal guest. Make sure you follow Julian at his profile, Julian Riley at Julian the Great.
Judah Great. Judah Great.
Judah Great.
Judah Great.
Judah Great on Instagram. You'll follow the Royal Blossom Podcast or Thursday Night with Pineapple on Instagram. You'll follow Royal Blossom Company on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And you also like and share, subscribe to the YouTube page, the Royal Blossom Company. I'm going to end this off with my famous quote. Once you discover how unique you are, you begin to change the world around you. Mr. Pineapple. We'll see you next week. It's been a great podcast, and we'll see you out. We out. Let's go. We got